My name is Ernest Sears, Dailey. September the 11th, 1922, I was born. I was born in North Carolina State. I don't remember the city, but I was the only one of the family that was born in North Carolina. I was raised in Virginia mostly. You know, it was old Dailey at one time. They dropped their O to Americanize themselves. I'm an old man now. Oh gosh, how old am I? I'm close to 90 years old. I tell you, I've had a good life, a good, fortunate life. Well, I was very young when we lived by a river, and they would pick me up, and there was a diddy boom, like that. That's where the did come from that diddy boom. My mother was a hard-working woman, I can tell you that. She was a German accent, of descent, I meant to say. My father was of Irish descent, but my mother, she's the one that fed us. She's the one that went to work to feed us. I respected her attitude toward her children, that she went to work to feed. And she brought home food for us. My mother was a rare woman, I tell you. She was a rare woman. My father knew animals. He knew animals real well, but he wasn't a highly educated man. He was only third grade in school. But he knew animals. He knew nature. He knew every tree in the forest. And he gave me 2 ducks, 2 baby ducks. And I brought them to Portsmouth where I lived. I lived with a family in Portsmouth, and I raised them. The male duck can't make a big noise, but the female duck can go quack, 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 like that, you know. So I heard the female duck quacking one evening, you know, and I went out there, and somebody stopped and stole the male duck. So I brought the female duck back to my father in Norfolk at City Park, you know, and she let the duck go with the other ducks. I went to school, Norfolk Highlands School, for the first grade. I was following my brothers to school. We go through the woods. Now this was first grade. And we get to a ditch in the woods, a drain ditch, you know. And they jumped across this ditch. And I tried to jump across, and I fell right in the ditch. And they wouldn't come back and get me out of the ditch. They said, go back home. Oh, I walked down that ditch. Water was in it, too, until I got to a space where I could crawl out of it. The ditch was over my head, way over my head. Where I could crawl over it, and I went back home. And I got wet, you know. I remember trying to dry out. It was kind of a winter time too, you know, it was cold. Dry out in front by a stove. My hands started hurting. The stove was a big round thing like that, and it was about 4 foot high. And they just burnt wood in it, you know, and the smoke went up to the chimney. And I remember sitting by that stove to get dry out, and my hands started hurting because they got frozen, so to speak. Yeah, they wouldn't come and get me out of that ditch. I was first grade, Norfolk Highlands School. That school is still there, incidentally. And then we moved into Norfolk proper, you know. It was Holt Street. I went to school then to a Catholic school that was right across the street from the apartment we lived in. That's right. I lived right across the street from the school and get late for school every day. But I tell you one thing, the nuns were good teachers, and they helped me. So I went to school, and I was graduated from high school. And I heard of Kings Point, and I applied to go. It was up in New York on Long Island. I wrote him. My brother Bud helped me write letters. He was, upstairs. He was pretty smart. Kept writing letters to him, and finally they accepted me in the United States Merchant Marine Academy in Great Neck, Long Island. And I went up there, and I was graduated from the Merchant Marine Academy. That's what made a seaman out of me. I think it was 46 I was graduated from Merchant Marine Academy. I remember I got a 4.0 in a test in the Merchant Marine Academy. You take the test one day and come back the next day, and they read out your score you made. And the man came back the next day, and the man was reading your test scores, and he usually read it by alphabetical order. If your name began with, your last name began with an A, then you will read first. But my last name was D for Dailey, you know what I mean? So when he got to me, he didn't even read my name. I said, what gives you? I know I passed that test, you know. And then, but at the very end, he says, now, for the first time in the history of the Merchant Marine Academy, cadet midshipman, that's what we were. Ernest S. Dailey gets a 4.0 in practical seamanship.
Wow.
I made history. Yeah, I like that. That was a good thing. Now, I like the sea, and I like going ships, so I went to the Merchant Marine Academy. It was a good education. Got on ships, and I saw the world. It was the best education I ever had. Of course, I went to high school and things like that. But I got an education sailing in the Merchant Marine. It was what I liked. I liked ships. I liked going places. When I went to the other places, it made me appreciate my country better. I became a seaman, man, and I loved it. I had salt water in my blood. I loved sailing ships. Although I was just a third mate on the ship, you know, you had first mate, second mate, third mate. I sailed on different ships. I enjoyed it. I went into the Mediterranean a lot. I went to the right above Australia at one time, then I went into the Hawaiian Islands on ships, and I saw the hull of the battleship Arizona when they bombed Pearl Harbor. Its bow was sticking out of the water when I got there, but later on they had covered it. They covered the bow. And I'll tell you something, you can't do that to these United States and get away with it. This is the greatest country on earth. There's no question in my mind about it. I come close to getting killed. Little bullets all around me and everything. I escaped from bullets. This is important because I've come close to getting killed. We were coming into a place, I forget the name of it, and there was land to the port side of the ship. I was just a cadet on the ship. And my job was to follow the master of the ship around and write down every order he gave to the engine room or gave to somebody else. It was a bell book, and I wrote it down, everything order he gave in the bell book. And so I had to follow him around to hear what he was saying all the time. Oh, what was it? I think it was the Hawaiian Islands, I'm not sure. You could look ashore, and the shore was about 2 football fields away, maybe a foot and a half to 2 football fields away. Tell me 1 football and a half. There was woods. To the port side of the ship, the left side of the ship, there was woods there. Now I followed the master. I had to follow the master to put down his orders, in the bell book. We were on the port side of the ship, and bullets started ricocheting off the ship. There was land over there, but there was woods there too, so we couldn't see who was shooting. And the master says, "Everybody get in the wheelhouse." And I was closest to it. Now, this thing frightened me. I'd never been shot at before, you know what I mean? My legs didn't work too good, so I tripped over the threshold of the wheelhouse, but I fell inside. And the other people were sailing over top of me. Now, that was one of my experiences that angered me and made me want to get back at them. Now, my job on the ship was a loader on a 20-millimeter gun. Now, what I did was take the bullets were about that long, press them in the magazine, it was called a magazine, and every 5th one would be a tracer bullet. So the man was trapped. It was a 19-year-old man, big man. He strapped it into the gun, and he aimed it with his body with that tracer. And we shot down, I forget how many it was, Japanese, they were called Zeros, the Japanese plane. I forget how many we shot down. I believe it was 12. It was 12. Because a kamikaze, now the word kamikaze means suicide in Japanese, okay? A kamikaze flew into our ship, but he hit in the very 8-inch diameter of a cargo boom. And that's what saved us, that cargo boom. Now, I'm just a cadet on the ship. Now, cadet is the lowest thing on the ship. You do what you're told and everything like that, and that's it. I remember when I came back to the United States, the master wrote up a good report on me. I remember that. But anyway, that cargo boom saved us. And then when he hit that cargo boom swung him on the starboard side. When he hit the end of the cargo boom, sticking up like that, right forward of the midship's house, the cargo boom swung to the port side and dumped him overboard. I remember walking overboard. Now the water wasn't too deep. Bubbles were coming up. And I remember saying to myself, there's a dead man down there. And if you hadn't hit that cargo boom, we would have been dead. But I enjoyed sailing, I'll tell you the truth. I went through the Panama Canal many times, all the way down to Valparaiso, Chile. I was at the bow of the ship. Let's see, I had made a lanyard for the bell up there, see, but it didn't have a metal piece to go around. And so the lanyard I made on the bell was a piece of rope where the man on the bow of the ship was supposed to, every hour, ring that bell for the hour and ring it so many times for the hour, and then once for the half an hour. So my lanyard that I made for it wore in two. See, and he called me from the bow. You had phones on the ship, So told me the lanyard wore in two. I said, well, put it aside, and I'll come up and get it when I get off a watch. I was on the bridge, see, and I got off a watch at, I think it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm not sure. Maybe at 4 o'clock. But anyway, when I got off a watch, I went up there to get that lanyard. And when I went up there, the bow of the ship started rising up like this, like that. Now what goes up has to come down in the water. Now if I'm up there and that water hits me there, it's going to kill me, because it's going to hit me hard and it's going to hit me against the hatch and everything. So I ran down to the midship's house of the ship, and put my body against it. And when the water came down, it couldn't move my body anyway. And it made me soaking wet, but it didn't get hurt. Now, if something loose was on the deck of that ship and that water brought it down, it could have killed me. You know what I mean? There was nothing on the deck of the ship. But that was an experience I had. I was on a ship that went to the South Pacific. Came back into San Francisco. And I was told that if I want to go direct to the academy from here, we will pay your way back to, which was Long Island. Academy was at Long Island. She said, but you want to go home to see your family, you have to pay your own way. So I told them I want to go home and see my family. So I came across country. I didn't have enough money for an airplane to come all the way. So I stopped about halfway across the country. Then I took a bus to come the rest of the way to the East Coast of the United States. And the bus would stop every once in a while to a place that people had to get off and go to the bathroom or something, I don't know how long it took, but it was a long time. The United States of America is the greatest country on earth. There's no question in my mind about it. I've been to other countries and I've seen what they were. There are some ancient things you can see, like in the Mediterranean Sea. What's that country's name? It has the Sphinx and the pyramids. I went into Egypt, walked all around, saw things, people and everything. Those countries don't have what we have. When I hear people talk about this country, I call them down. I said, man, you're living in the greatest country on earth. If you don't believe it, you go to another country to live, and you want to get right back here. That's what I tell them. And there's not another country in the world like the United States of America.